Think of all the people who you were really close to, let's say in the last 5 years. How many of these relationships are still the same? Most aren't. And we always think of it in this way. Maybe people change, maybe life change, maybe situations happen. But I actually thought about it, and the reason might be something much more deeper. See, we attract relationships in our life, whether it is romantic relationship, partner relationship, friendship, whatever it is. We attract it unconsciously because there is a gap that needs to be filled. And when this person comes in our life, they come to fill that gap. And we do this unconsciously. We don't sit down and think that, oh, this is what is missing, and let me find a person who can bring this into my life. We never do that. It's just the way that it naturally unfolds, it naturally happens. Let's say you were a person who you listen to, who guides you, comes into your life. Probably they came around a time in your life where you didn't trust the guidance that was coming from within you. Or let's say there is a person whose acknowledgement you crave. They must have probably entered your life when you were not acknowledging yourself enough. Similarly, if somebody came and they said things, very beautiful things about you, they probably came into your life where there was a gap in that area of your life. And I'm just not making this up. This is something that I realized based on a recent experience of mine. So I got in touch with this lady and we started talking, and it developed into something really beautiful, something which I cherished. And we used to talk, we used to have conversations which were really, really deep, which were really amazing, to be honest. And in those conversations, I really started enjoying the way she used to appreciate the thoughts that I had, the way I was able to put things. She was able to bring that confidence, which was in a way a gap within me, based of for my own thoughts, for my own reasons. And initially, it was going all well and smooth, but later on, I realized that the way this relationship is structured, it's not fair. Because one day I had this thought and I thought of letting her know, and before even actually getting in touch with her and relaying her the incident or something, I imagined her expression. I imagined what would she say and how it would make me feel. And through this, I actually realized that what is going on in this relationship. Because whenever the other person is filling the gap that is there in their own way by being present, it's not helping them, because in a way I'm leaning on them for that gap to be filled. So it's not fair to them, as well as it is not giving me an opportunity to take a look at that gap and actually face it. So so in this relationship, when we were talking, I realized that it's not fair for both of us. And naturally, the relationship fizzled out. Now what actually happened over here? See, these relationships which we unconsciously make to fill our own gaps, they, with time, they actually fizzle out. Why does this happen? Because this relationship had a foundation based on something that was missing. And the beauty of life is that it gives you experience and people which eventually fill that space. Now, if that person was in your life because initially the foundation of that relationship was a gap, the moment that gap starts filling, the relationship loses its ground and it falls apart. Whether it is with a mentor, with a guide, with a teacher, with a friend, with a or a romantic relationship, no matter what it is, if it is based on something, it fizzles away. Now, the problem is that we always try to go back to the moment where it used to feel the most amazing. We always try to imagine that. But the thing is that the gap is filled, so we cannot reach there. Like, it's not possible if the foundation was the gap. It is technically not possible because the foundation has already fizzled out. And that causes us to think what went wrong, what happened, why is this not the same anymore. But maybe it was just that the time had come. The gap that was supposed to be filled, or the role that the other person had to play in your life, is already played. It was played beautifully, it is completed. And this does not mean what you felt or what they felt during that time was not real. It was absolutely real, but the journey came to a natural conclusion. So instead of holding on to what has already been, all we have to do is look forward, because you have already reached a mountain peak. You like the view, but you have to get down in the valley, because only in the valley you can go towards the next mountain. And this does not mean that you use people and once you are done with them, you let them go, etc. It does not mean that. And the telltale sign will be when that relationship fizzles out. Do you feel guilt or do you feel gratitude? Because guilt will be there when you know something happened and you didn't play your role well. Maybe you took more advantage of them, or maybe you it was really that bias that you were not you were taking some kind of advantage of that person. You will realize that in your own soul. But if there is gratitude with a pinch of sadness, that's when you'll feel that, you know what, it was it was time. Maybe the role that we both were supposed to play in our life is done. And now the best thing is actually to start moving forward, because in this next moving forward is your next growth. So is the question so the question arises, all our relationships are based out of gaps? Well, most of the relationships are. All you have to do is just be aware about it. Now, two things happen. First, if you know that a relationship is, you know, based out of a need, you actually become much more respectful of that, right? And when that is supposed to come to an end, you realize and you accept that. And you are transparent. You have to be transparent with the other person as well, because you have to know their thoughts too. But eventually, what happens is that with life, with experiences and everything, you start becoming your own whole. And in that wholeness, you reach a point where there's no need for anything. And that's when you actually start connecting with people just out of sharing, not out of a need, not out of a gap, or something else. It's just that you become a whole by yourself, and all you have to do is give and share. Thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would be interested to know what do you think about this topic. And if you are interested in more such content related to awareness, body, mind, relationships, and life in general, do give a subscribe. Thank you.